Well, folks, this video may or may not have some hot takes involved. Pokemon fans disappointed after awful presentation. Now, this right here is in reference to Pokemon Day Pokemon Presents 2025, and I want to open the video up with a question to you guys. If you guys are Pokemon fans and you watched the Pokemon Presents, what are your guys' honest thoughts and opinions about it? Now, me personally, I had the bar set pretty low. My biggest hope out of this was for there to finally be some news for Pokemon Legends ZA after a year of there being no news, radio silence, and we finally got something for Pokemon Legends ZA, and I was pleasantly surprised when it came to the reveal of Pokemon Champions, which gave me big time vibes of Pokemon Stadium. Now that's the short and skinny of it when it comes to my point of view from Pokemon Presents, but let's get into this article here because some of the takes here are pretty interesting to say the least. The Pokemon Day 2025 presentation is in the books, but its abrupt end and lack of big announcements left fans feeling underwhelmed. Nintendo holds a Pokemon presentation every year, and naturally, some years are bigger than others, featuring massive announcements of new games and updates to existing ones. However, while the hype was high, many have come away from 2025's show feeling deflated. This is likely to how the show ended rather abruptly, and aside from the new mobile game Pokemon Champions and a full reveal of Pokemon Legends ZA, there wasn't anything big and exciting. Many fans were at least hoping to be shouting Unova confirmed, following the announcement of a Pokemon Black and White remake, but no Gen 5 remakes were announced, leaving Pokemon's 30th anniversary plans still a mystery. X/Twitter users made their frustration known once the presentation ended, with one saying, Legends Arceus wasn't anything to write home about visually, but ZA looks so much more bland. The combat looks tedious and uninspired. No new Pokemon or Megas, and still have to wait until the end of 2025, no Gen 10, no classic games releasing. This was an awful Pokemon Day 2025. Okay, so I want you guys to keep two things in mind right here. Number one, expect the unexpected. That is something that is applicable to pretty much any aspect in life, much less Pokemon. But another thing to keep in mind is to not have high expectations, okay? Set the bar low when it comes to your expectations for Pokemon, so that way you don't get disappointed and kicked in the nards when something that you were highly expecting doesn't come into fruition. Now, I'm not saying that things like Generation 5 remakes or the announcement of Generation 10 is impossible, okay? Like I said, expect the unexpected. However, at the same time, these are very, 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 very big projects. And keep in mind that we have ourselves Pokemon Legends ZA coming out later this year, an already big enough project as it is. Like, think about it like this. If we had ourselves Pokemon Legends ZA and either the Generation 5 remakes or Generation 10 releasing in the same year, well, one would cannibalize the other, making the game pretty damn obsolete. And an example to back up that point would be what happened with Pokemon Legends Arceus. It got released in January of 2022, and then as soon as Pokemon Day hit in February, we had the announcement of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and while to say that Pokemon Legends Arceus was on borrowed time is already an understatement, they ended up getting cannibalized pretty damn hard. So honestly, I'm glad that they didn't have any big announcements for Generation 10 or Generation 5 remakes, and they are focusing on Pokemon Legends ZA, and they also had, a few other things sprinkled in there as well, such as the reveal of Pokemon Champions, and we had news when it came to other Pokemon-related games. But I'm honestly glad that they didn't go too crazy when it came to all of these, new giga-high announcements and stuff like that, because they would be spreading their resources, in my opinion, way too thin, and that right there is not good when it comes to developing games. I mean, need I remind you about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Those games right there, although I had a lot of fun with them, and their stories and the new Pokemon were really, really good, They felt rushed, and it showed in the game's performance. So I don't want to be paying a generous amount of money for a new Pokemon game that doesn't function properly, and I know for a fact that there are people here watching that feel the same way. But anyways, while I'm saying that nothing is impossible, this right here is an example of what happens when you set the bar too high when it comes to expectations out of Pokemon. You get kicked in the nards, and you are left disappointed. So remember to temper your expectations, but at the same time expect the unexpected. Some asked questions like, "That was it?" or posted memes of a sad Pikachu. Others were frustrated by the lack of news regarding a potential Black and White remake, with Gen 5 being next in line for the treatment following the controversial Gen 4 remakes in 2021. One player said, "My honest reaction to this year's Pokemon Day, if people are happy with what they got, then the hopes and standards from the Pokemon Company have fallen down to hell. Also, no news on Black and White is pathetic." Oh, damn. I felt a little bit of spice off that one. Now, there is no doubt in my mind that Pokemon Presents wasn't exactly what I would call a marquee grade A show, alright? I would rank it a C because they had quite the amount of things in there that I didn't really care that much for, but it wasn't a terrible show by any stretch. But this right here is another example of what happens when you set the expectations way too high and you end up getting kicked in disappointment when you have your expectations of something dashed and not revealed. Now, let me make this clear too, okay? Make no mistake about it, Pokemon deserves the valid criticisms that they do. Absolutely. However, when we are expecting Generation 10, Generation 5, Pokemon Legends ZA, this, that, in the same year, I mean, that right there would be way too much on their plate, and no doubt they would be churning slop. So while we should have high expectations when it comes to Pokemon, it should be when it comes to the realm of quality. We should be expecting very, very high quality when it comes to Pokemon, okay? We pay a pretty penny for the new releases and stuff like that, and it can be a little bit of a kick in the pants when what we pay for doesn't work properly some of the time. But when it comes to, standards in a different way for Pokemon, such as expecting new releases like up and down the wazoo and this and that, it's a little bit unrealistic and unfair. Of course, some fans were excited that they finally got to see some Legends ZA gameplay and that a release window of late 2025 was announced for the sequel to both Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon X and Y. It also promises to bring back the beloved feature of Mega Evolutions, and this right here is something that got me really excited because I loved Mega Evolutions. Now, I'm really hoping that they add back all of the Mega Evolutions and maybe even sprinkle in some new Mega Evolutions, but I gotta temper my expectations about that because I don't want to be the one to get the swift kick in the nards, you know what I'm saying? That shit kinda hurts. One fan said, "Adding more of a spin on Legends combat looks like you can act and move with your Pokemon while in battle too. It's giving Xenoblade-based combat. I like it." And I gotta say as well, based on the trailer that we had got for Pokemon Legends ZA, the combat aspect looks hella interesting. While another said, "Okay, Pokemon Legends ZA may just won me over now that I know Totodile is one of the starters for the game." Now, I will say that I do have a mild criticism when it comes to the starter choices because we had ourselves Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. Now, Totodile is 100% going to be repping by me. I love Feraligatr, which is the final evolved form of Totodile, but something that jumped out at myself and various other people was the fact that we had ourselves 2 of the 3 starters from the same region, that being Johto. So we had Chikorita and Totodile, both being from the Johto region. And typically speaking, when it comes to Legends games, you would have Pokemon, the starter Pokemon, from different regions. So as an example, for Pokemon Legends Arceus, we had Rowlet of Generation 7, Cyndaquil of Generation 2, and Oshawott of Generation 5. So why they decided to add 2 Generation 2 starters out of the 3 is a little bit weird. Also, I love this new style battle system. It's giving me some Xenoblade vibes. There's Xenoblade being referenced again. And of course, looking forward to meeting Zygarde once more. A new game called Pokemon Champions was always announced to be in development by Niantic. Oh, hell no! Hell no! Niantic better not go anywhere near that game and ruin it with their microtransactions and their aggressive monetization, like they did with Pokemon Go. Like, Pokemon Go is riddled with paywalled content. Sure, it's free to play, but really it's a pay-to-win game. They better not do this. They better not do Pokemon Champions dirty like this. Because if they do, then my hype and excitement for that is going to be extremely short-lived. That's all I can say about that. This will serve as a mobile version of games like Pokemon Stadium and Coliseum, but players can take with them while on the move. They must be talking about Pokemon. I noticed that the article has quite a few grammatical errors. Not hating on whoever wrote this, by the way, but some of the wording here is a little bit confusing, a little bit off, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. It'll also connect to Pokemon Home, meaning players will be able to transfer their existing Pokemon into its arenas. However, the Pokemon Champions reveal wasn't enough to satisfy fans who were looking forward to an announcement of the next mainline Pokemon game or some remake news. So that right there is the article, but let me just go ahead and reiterate something before closing this video out. I'm not saying all of what I said to be a prick, alright? Let me just make that abundantly clear, okay? I ain't Verlicify, alright? I'm Crasher. But to sum everything up here, I wanted to open a dialogue with you guys in regards to Pokemon Presents, you know, get your guys' overall thoughts and opinions about it, but to also shed some reminders of the fact that you should never ever set your expectations too high, because that will enhance the likelihood of them being knocked down and you set yourself up for disappointment. So hopefully I didn't come off too harsh here in this video. If I did, I do apologize. But you know me, sometimes I just have to say it like it is and just say it right off the cuff, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said though, guys, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your guys' thoughts overall? And with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time as well in viewing this video. Have yourself a damn good one, you beautiful people. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Remember to always stay humble and temper your expectations. I'll see you guys in the next video.